Hello, welcome to March to the pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. Roofing you can trust, unlike my sports takes. Don't trust those. This is episode 23 of season 3. We have a roster update from the football team. Today's National Signing Day. Ben's got some information on that. Longo had a press conference today, so we will get some information from that as well. Ben has an amazing softball preview. We're going to go over that. Men's and women's basketball, we've got predictions, and then Cat Fun news always. I'm your host, producer, once banned catfans.com member. They gave me a little grace. You can find me on social media at Cory Hogue Sports, CORYHOGUE Sports. No, I still don't have my Twitter back. As always, I'm joined by the real ball knower of the podcast, the man behind at Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram, COO of the Cat Fund and proud Bearkat himself, Ben Sorrells. And listen, if you're not tuned in to the Substack, if you haven't subscribed, it's really starting to pick up. We're starting to get it flowing a little bit. It's only going to get better. Subscribe, get every article sent to your inbox. We also have a roster wire, which probably had most of the people who we heard about from signing day today. Ben, tell us, what did you learn from Longo's press conference?
Yeah, well, a couple things today. So there were 15 high school signees in the 2026 class. We knew 14 of them. O-lineman Miles Joseph from Lake Charles, Louisiana, was the last piece of the class to make it 15. Offensive lineman. Longo had a press conference today specifically talking about the 2026 high school class. Starting at the quarterback position, Mason Holtzclaw is going to be one of the two QBs coming in this class. He is from Carrollton, Georgia, kind of your typical pro-style QB, and he's going to be a big part of what this team's probably going to do next year. We'll have a chance to compete for the two deep. Phil Longo said that, along with Brett Holloway. Brett Holloway from Melissa High School, who committed earlier this week and signed today also, will also have a chance to crack the two deep this next year. Holloway's a little bit more of a dynamic threat, so neither of them will be there during the spring. They'll both get there in June, but Longo said that they will both have a chance to get into the two deep behind Landon Locke this coming year, along with DJ Bailey, so we'll see what that looks like.
I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, he also mentioned he liked having a young quarterback room because he can develop the guys, which I get in theory, but it's almost a little too young. DJ Bailey, who will be a redshirt sophomore, you have two true freshmen and then a sophomore in Landon Locke, so it's a very young room. I think you're okay with Locke as a starter, but behind him it's still very up in the air. Maybe if both of these guys came in during the spring, you'd feel a little bit better, but I love the talent for both of them. Mason Holtzclaw had nearly 20 Division I offers, and I posted on the Cat Fans forum a week or two ago about him coming in to visit before he visited and committed and all that stuff, and they were very high on him internally, thinking that he could follow a similar trajectory to Landon Locke, and that's kind of what you have to hope for. Maybe he could be your number two. Obviously, it's not you don't want to put a ton of hope into it, but looks like the kind of guy that might be on that trajectory. Mentioned a few other things. He thinks his high school class has some guys that can compete to be on the two deep and to get on the field a little sooner than most classes do. So we'll see what that looks like. Highlighted Ty Sexton from Katy Jordan High School. He is your typical slot receiver, the guy that thrives in Phil Longo's offense. He's super excited about him. Said he's super shifty. And then the other thing, too, I asked about Mason Holtzclaw from Carrollton, Georgia. You also get running back Demetrius Dowdy from Winterboro High School in Georgia. And when I asked him about Demetrius Dowdy, Longo said when he first met him on his visit, he reminded him of Coco Brown, the way he looks physically. So that's an encouraging sign, at least that he's got a college-ready body at the running back position. And I think he's a guy that could compete for, maybe the third or fourth spot on the depth chart this year. So not a ton of takeaways because we were just looking at the 26 class, but we learned a little bit more about the quarterbacks, Ty Sexton, the role that he could play, and then also Demetrius Dowdy. Sounds like there's some upside there at the running back position.
Ben, every night before I go to bed, I get down on my knees, like everyone does. Everyone. I think it's mandated by government. I get down on my knees and I say my nightly prayers to the cat gods. I always pray for an experienced quarterback to come in through the portal. I see that's not happening. I don't feel good if you're telling me that a 3-win team last year that needs some 2-win team that needs some talent upgrade, right? You're going to rely on freshmen? I don't feel good.
He did mention that they were looking at some portal quarterbacks, but this was the best kind of route for them. That's not exactly how he put it, but he did mention they looked at some portal quarterbacks. And it's funny, quarterback might be the position on the team at the moment I feel least confident in. I mean, the portal pickups that you've gotten, I mean, I was concerned about the O-line. You added Joseph today, and then you had 2 more signings that were officially announced yesterday. The most notable one being Josiah Chenault, who was a first-team all-conference member at Kennesaw State at center. So I feel like the O-line shored up. You went and got 4 tight ends. That was a position that you needed some depth. You got 4 D tackles, and that was a position you were bringing some guys back at. I mean, linebacker, you brought in 3 or 4 guys there that I think look really good, especially Brian Bates, and you were bringing back Dean Ford and Tokyo Gordon. You completely revamped your back end. So, I mean, on paper, this roster is much, much better, but the quarterback position is probably the one I'm most worried about.
It's great that players can get paid and all these days. It is fantastic. But you've got to spend your NIL money on quarterback that's going to help you win now, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's get a word in from friends over at Eternal Roofing, and when we come back, we'll start previewing the softball team.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Get a question in here from Jason Plotkin watching on Facebook. Cory, how does the amount of high school signees for Sam Houston football compare to other G5 programs in the state of Texas? I'll be honest with you, Jason, I don't know.
I will say that 11 of the 15 signees for Sam Houston were from Texas. They also have a PWO long snapper coming in from Cy Ranch High School, so 12 of the 16 freshmen you're bringing in. I feel like that's the number you need to be at, and I would say it's probably pretty similar to most other G5s in the country, 75%.
I don't know. I feel like 75% of each class now is the transfer portal, even at G5, because they can go find some of the better ones at the other levels, and then some of the ones that maybe drop down from FBS as well. So that's my thought. I honestly don't know. Personally, I'm in a bit of like a reset right now, and I haven't been following. I don't have my Twitter, and I haven't been following anything, and I haven't felt the need to stop yet.
Well,
General Sam says we're missing one high school wide receiver.
High school wide receiver. I mean, we've got a tight end coming in. We've got Ty Sexton coming in. At the high school level, I don't know of another wide receiver coming in just based on the list that was put out by the team today.
Well, I could tell you
and Longo just hit on one high school receiver during the press conference, too. He didn't hit on everybody.
I'll tell you this. Spring is coming. I know last week, Fern came in and put us all in the house together for about 6 days. But
Fern, yeah.
Oh, Fern left a mark. But spring's around the corner because the Space Cowboys have their draft this weekend. It is baseball time, which means the bat and ball sports, the best sports there are. I don't care who you are, what you think. You're wrong because high school or college baseball, softball is the best. Any level. Baseball, softball is the best. I don't even argue about that. It's just a fact. So
I'm ready for
anyway,
it.
the Cats softball team, they get started this weekend. They get started on Friday. Ben, if you haven't checked it out on the marchtothepod.substack.com, he's got a great preview there that he wrote up detailing the softball team. But what I took away from that myself, and yes, I read those so I can learn as well. What I took away from that, this team going to be hard to score against.
Yes, and they were hard to score against last year. They were fourth in the league in ERA and kind of found their footing late in the year and returned all 380 innings that they threw last year. So that's Abigail Young, Amy Abke, Kendall Daniel, Mackenzie Jenkins, Tiffany Sanchez, all 5 players that threw innings for you last year are all back. And it sounds like Abigail Young has likely taken a jump from her sophomore to junior year, which is scary because she led the league in ERA last year. Tiffany Sanchez going from a true freshman to a sophomore. Garrett Vallis said that she is the hardest thrower on the team now. So it's a pitching staff that's going to be elite and pitch at the highest level.
How about behind them though? Because there's 3 parts to every baseball roster. You got to have your pitching, check. Got to have your fielding. Got to have people behind that can get those out so we're not giving up a ton of unearned runs. What does it look like from a fielding standpoint?
Yeah, obviously a couple of positions still up in the air because you lose 5 or 6 players from your starting lineup. But Trisha Urotsky, who missed last year due to injury, had 8 homers in 2024. She's back, and she'll be at third base for you. Garrett Vallis the other day said that she's the captain of the infield, does a great job leading the infield. Morgan Holliday's going to play shortstop for you. Veronica Harrison from Lamar, the big transfer from there. She was a first-team all-conference player in the Southland last year. She's going to play some first base, a designated player. And then probably the most important one, Bella Perez, is back behind the plate. Tied the single season record for homers last year, was great behind the plate, has taken a big leadership role. Garrett Vallis said on all the visits that she was a big part of people's visits, and with the freshmen bringing them along so far this year. But the defense looks like it's probably going to be in a pretty good spot. Jordan Pino comes back too, should play some time in the outfield. But you're pretty good in the field and in the lineup. A little more questions than in the circle, but you still got to feel pretty good about where you're at.
I told Gabe, my son, who is the catcher for the Space Cowboys, that the most important position on the field is catcher. Because catcher is responsible for getting your defense aligned at the upper levels, not at 3rd grade and 4th grade. But at the upper levels, catcher gets your defense aligned. Catcher is the one that picks those bad pitches out of the dirt when that pitcher comes up there, keeps the ball from going back, keeps runners from advancing. They play the largest role. If you're not good at catcher defensively, you're not going to be a good defensive team. And
No.
I think the Cats have got that position wrapped up. But there is one problem. You can't win without scoring at least 1 run. What about that lineup?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So you bring back Bella Perez, which, I mean, just bringing her back is huge. And then you've got a couple other players that saw a little bit of time last year, like Carlin Dees is back. She flashed at moments in her true freshman season. You bring back I'm forgetting her first name. She's the sister of Brody Quinlan. But Brody was great when she was here. But she's back. You have a few others coming back too, like I said, that just don't they didn't play a lot last year, but they're going to be more in the mix this year. And then Garrett Vallis in his press conference said, I get asked how many hitters we brought in through the portal this year because we had some open spots, and it's technically 2, but it's really 4 because you get Jordan Pino and Trisha Urotsky back from injury. They'll both be big parts of the lineup. But the 2 transfers, Veronica Harrison at first base, like I said, she was a first-team all-conference performer at Lamar. I think she had 22 extra base hits, hit somewhere in the 300s. I forget the exact number. But she's going to be a big part of it, too. And then Ripley Welker comes over from A&M Corpus Christi, started for them last year, so she's got a lot of experience at this level. So I think you have some good top end talent, with your Bella Perez's, Veronica Harrison's. You'll need probably some of the younger players to step up. Garrett Vallis did say that some of the freshmen will see some time this year in the lineup. He mentioned a handful of them, so we'll see which ones crack the lineup. But there's probably 2 or 3 spots that are open in the lineup right now. I think you could pencil in, Veronica Harrison, Bella Perez, Trisha Urodsky, Jordan Pino, Carlin Dees, stuff like that. But you've still got a few open spots left.
If you can get on base, you can be productive in an offense.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what grade you are in softball. If you can get on base, you can be productive. So this is the era of the transfer portal, and it has hit every single sport. But the Cats seem to have kept a lot from transferring and held a lot of players in returning. That, to me, says some really good things about this program.
Yeah, you graduated a handful of really productive bats from your lineup, but you really did not lose much else besides that, which is a really good sign for which is a really good sign for Sam Houston. And a lot of these players this year too. I love our roster, but a lot of them have years going forward too. They're sophomores and juniors now. So if you can keep the team together again for one more year, I mean, it could be really special.
Jason Plotkin watching on Facebook. Thank you very much. You're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, as General Sam was, or on Twitter. Thank you very much. He chimes in. He's trying to get me in trouble here. The Southland is a good farm system for the Bearkat softball program, it sounds like. Jason Plotkin, I'm telling you right now, Southland is not AAA for your Bearkats, okay?
I was going to say, too, Coach Vallis mentioned that Bella Perez, Veronica Harrison, and Ripley Welker are all roommates, and they call themselves like the Southland Squad or the Southland Transfers because Bella Perez came from McNeese, Veronica Harrison came from Lamar, and Ripley Welker came from A&M Corpus Christi. So it's interesting that all 3 of them coming over from the Southland are rooming together.
If Chris Grant is listening or watching this, and he's not, that was, by the way, Jason Plotkin and Ben Sorrells, okay, Chris, that said those things.
Well, and I was going to say one more thing on the team. Did you see the clip that I posted of Garrett Vallis from his press conference? I think it was yesterday I posted, or maybe 2 days ago.
Yeah, I did.
I love the mindset coming into this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We expect to compete for a championship. We're not just coming in here to be a top 8 seed. We're not just going to try to be a top 4 seed. We expect to be competing for a championship. I don't know I know everybody expects that, but to say it out loud and be so confident in it, I really like that statement from him.
If you have the talent, you have the ability, yes. And they do, right? Like those are the expectations. And if you don't realize those and set those, you're not doing enough with your talent. Now, if you were an 8th, 9th place team and you're talking about winning the conference, let's try to win a few games first.
Yeah.
But if you're top 2, 3, winning the conference and winning the conference tournament at the end of the year is always your goal.
Yeah, this was a team that tied for 4th last year, and you bring the entire pitching staff back, and I think you bring enough back from the lineup and did enough to supplement the people that left. I mean, this team could really compete for a championship. I'm excited to see what they can do.
It is going to be fun to watch get started again this Friday. If you want to read more in depth on the preview of the softball team, marchtothepod.substack.com. Ben has a great story up on there.
I'll have more coming too. Baseball coming, and we had our golf auction this last week and got some good stories there. I'm going to put into a piece here in the next week or two, also that I think they'll really like.
Nice, yeah. I'd say keep up the great work, Ben. I will help as much, whenever you need me or wherever you need me to on that stuff. And there's a lot of good things going on in the Cats athletic department right now. Maybe not around the vibes around the football program might not be good, but look, softball, men's basketball.
I think they're turning. They're turning.
We're trying, right? But you got softball, men's and women's basketball, baseball. I'm going to be interested to see that preview.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, there's a lot up in the air with that one. We'll talk about it more next week.
And you know how much I love baseball.
Yes.
So I expect a very well written preview.
Oh boy. We'll see.
Hey, you never know. I had to say something. If you're enjoying the show, help us grow by rating and reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget, subscribe to our Substack page. You've heard it already. You're going to hear more about it through the next couple of legs of the podcast. March to the pod.substack.com and on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube by searching for at March to the Pod. Remember, March the number 2 the pod, and also check out the CUSA Podcast Roundtable. We are proud members, and they have shows covering all 12 CUSA programs, and they've even got some people at the Super Bowl this week. I saw. So definitely,
we weren't big. We weren't big enough. Maybe next year.
Listen, I'm never big time enough to go to the Super Bowl. That's Adrian Broadus out there at El Paso. That dude, big time.
Oh gosh, not Kevin. Jake from Paul's Up Podcast was there too.
Yeah, I saw they got a picture together. That was good to see. We're going to come back with some talk about the women's basketball program. We're going to get caught up on them. But first, another word about our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com.
General Sam chiming in. Got Connor Dandridge to commit from Cy Ranch, wide receiver. Was he a PWO?
He would be a PWO if he's not on the list, because I had the team official list sent to me this afternoon. So
there we go.
Yeah,
that explains it right there. And that's. Is there really a difference between a priority walk-on and a walk-on? Just
no. I mean. What? Ultimately, they can impact the team in the same way. I mean,
you're still not getting a scholarship, right?
Yeah, and from a numbers perspective too, the roster cap is 105, and I'd have to go back and look at the exact numbers, but I think you're at like 108, 109, something like that. But you're going to cut, a few guys before the season, so that's not too uncommon.
Always women's basketball. Let's look at the standings, see what's been happening there, and what's happening is. The Bearkats are doing pretty darn well. They are sitting right now in third place. Pretty much, let's see, they've got 9, they've got 8, so they're a half a game behind La Tech. That half a game is in the loss column, so if La Tech was to lose one more, Sam Houston holds that tiebreaker.
Well, in that the reason they're a game behind and Missouri State is a game behind is that game got postponed to the end of this month, I think February 26th. Was the date, but that's the reason why they have 8 games.
Old Fern, boy, she left a mark. I'm telling you, she let us know that we had at least 3 inches of ice on our sidewalk out here that we were trying to clear. Middle Tennessee State still playing well. They're 7-2. Missouri State, that game between Sam Houston and Missouri State, that's a big one. When that game does come, it's going to really have some say in the conference tournament seedings because. You think 3 and 4 isn't big? Well, it is because right now 4 plays 5, which is FIU, and 3 plays 6, which is Jack State. And Jack State seems to be maybe a better team, a better matchup for like a Sam Houston than FIU is.
Yeah, you just took care of Jack State at home, and it's important to note too. It's a 10-team tournament, so there's a play-in game to face the 1 and 2 seed. So if you can get a top 2 seed, you're playing a team that played the day before, so that's an advantage also on both the men's and the women's side. So and both teams are definitely still in play for a top 2 seed, so that's important to note also.
Get a preview of what those games could look like this weekend with the trip that they're headed on. I do want to point out that the Flames are flaming at 4 and 5.
They've been a little bit of a disappointment this year. I know they were picked towards the top of the league like they always are, and Sam Houston got a win there a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it was Liberty's a little lower than definitely I expected them to be after the year they had last year.
You hate to see it. The Cats have won 2 straight after a tough loss at FIU, and that was a really good game. I thought they played.
Oh,
FIU is
yeah.
a tough team, really, really fast paced. They beat Jack State, handled them easily, 70-51. They beat Kennesaw State 62-57 at home last week, and they are headed on the road this weekend. They've got the mountain trip is what I guess we can call that, right? We're going to New Mexico State, 7 p.m. Thursday on ESPN+. The Aggies have lost 5 of their last 6, 3 straight on the road, but they are 5-4 at home. We got some preview coming up of that one and some predictions. And then Saturday, they head out to El Paso. They're headed back towards in the great state of Texas, at least. They get to go to El Paso, 3 p.m. The Miners ended a 7-game losing streak with a 79-69 win over not UTEP. They didn't beat themselves. They probably beat New Mexico State, if I remember correctly. But, obviously when I wrote that, I did not think.
Well, I was going to say, it's a big trip coming up because you're fighting for that top 2 seed, top 4 seed, and these are 2 games against New Mexico State and UTEP that you really need to have. If you can get to 8-2 after this weekend, anytime you can win on the road, it's big. If you can win 2 in a row on the road, it's big. So you get to 8-2 and you're still squarely in the mix for a top 2 seed. And the biggest thing to note going into this weekend is the status of Fontecone. So they played Jacksonville State Thursday night. We had a press conference with Coach Justice on Friday. She said that Fonta left the game with about 10 minutes left, didn't come back in. Friday, she said she was fine, wasn't too concerned, but she didn't play Saturday. Post-game, she said it was load maintenance or load management. I don't know. It's a little concerning. The fact that they pulled out the win against Kennesaw State without her was huge. Esther Rodayar came off the bench with 12 points and was fantastic. You'll need that from her if Kone's not going to play, but definitely in the men's side too, we'll have an injury note to talk about too, but the status of Fontecone is top of mind for me going into this weekend.
Yeah, now maybe this is a weekend that you're playing teams that possibly you could beat while limiting her minutes if you needed to.
Maybe, but I know she wants to be out there. I mean, every time she plays, it's 40 minutes unless she's in foul trouble. So, I mean,
you might have to just drag her off the court.
We'll see. I mean, I'd like for her to be out there, but ultimately it's about the conference tournament at the end of the day. So her health is the biggest priority, but it's something of note to watch this weekend.
Jason Plotkin says New Mexico State women's basketball has as many wins as their men's program. Surprised how much NMSU has fallen in hoops in both men and women. Yeah, that's an old Sam Houston what coach? We'll just say coach.
On the men's side, yeah.
On the men's side out there. And he also says this has to be the worst league record in Western Kentucky women's basketball history. The powers, the traditional powers are some of them are, but some of them are not powering this year.
Yeah, well, and even Middle Tennessee, who's towards the top, isn't, like a clear number one. They've made the tournament 20 years in a row or 18 years in a row, something like that. I mean, and they've shown some cracks, and you had a chance to beat them at the buzzer a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, even the teams that are towards the top are as strong as they typically are. And Sam Houston's kind of wedged their way up in there and taken advantage of the opportunity they've been given.
This is a big, big weekend for the women. They do need both these wins desperately. So let's take a look at how the stats compare. These are NCAA national team rankings, except for effective field goal percentage, because the NCAA keeps that stat for the men, but not the women. I'm going to say it every time we do this. The effective field goal percentage is brought to you by WarrenNolan.com. And as we look at this, there's not a ton of change, but the change there is for the Bearkats is actually in the positive direction, which is always nice to see. You look at New Mexico State, you say they have an effective field goal percentage. Doesn't matter against Sam Houston, in my opinion. But they're pretty good. Average 147. Scoring offense, though. New Mexico State can't score. They're 300th in scoring offense, 251st in scoring defense. They can't score. They can't stop anyone. Sam Houston scores at maybe a slightly below average rate, 190th in the NCAA, but their scoring defense is 17th. Big edge and rebounding margin, assist to turnover ratio, and turnover margin. New Mexico State's 310th. There's 361 teams, 310th in turnover margin, while the Bearkats are 13th. Even before we even get to the conference rankings here, these are some really, really, really big numbers for the Bearkats.
Yeah.
Did we?
No, you still got me?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Big numbers. And one thing that I have noticed the past week or two with Sam Houston is they've started to score the ball a little bit better. 60 against FIU, that's okay. 67 against Middle Tennessee, that's in the right direction. 70 against Jack State. 62 against Kennesaw State. 73 against Delaware. So you're getting up out of the 50s. You're not really scoring in that range anymore. So that's been a real positive sign that I've noticed the past few weeks.
You have said since the beginning, if this team can score 60 or more points, they're hard to beat in the game, and they're proving that to be true.
Yeah, and if you can find a way to get to 70, I mean, it's icing on the cake.
It really is, especially with this defense. We look at the Conference USA stats comparison, and scoring defense, the Cats are tops. Every category here, scoring offense, scoring defense, rebound margin, assist turnover ratio, and turnover margin, New Mexico State is either 11th, which is most of the time, or 12th in assist turnover ratio.
Yeah.
That's where they sit based in the conference. The Cats are top in scoring defense, 4th in assist turnover ratio, and unsurprisingly, 1st in turnover margin. Statistically, Ben, this game, and if you're watching, we don't have video of Ben, but we still have him on speaker right now. But statistically, Ben, this game just screams blowout. You there? Well, Ben is not there, so we'll pretend. Yes, Cory, it does. And that's about all I have to say because he's got more insight than I do. He's here. Yeah. He's back. So, hey, yeah, you stopped it. I don't have to do the Ben Sorrells impression that I was starting here.
Well, yeah, it does scream blowout, especially if Fontecona is going to play. It's a game that you got to take care of. Team that doesn't take care of the ball, you're the team that forces some of the most turnovers in the country. So if Fontecona plays, this should be a game that you handle. You know, I don't know what the line is that you're going to set. I didn't look at the notes on it, but I'm going to say you should win by probably 15 points or so.
Well, I didn't set any line. ChatGPT did. Offensive rebounds. That's another stat I always like to kind of look at here. Sam Houston is 10th nationally in offensive rebounds. That is a very good place to be. First in the conference. New Mexico State, 288th. That is 11th. Shocking. They're right there next, right at the bottom of the conference in offensive rebounds as well. So you ask about predictions. Well, let's get to them. New Mexico State versus Sam Houston, 7 p.m. Thursday, February 5th, ESPN Plus. The line from ChatGPT is Sam Houston by 10.5. I have a feeling I know where Ben is going with this one. A total of 122.5. ChatGPT projects the Bearkats win 67-55. Now, before we get into this, let's take a look at where we are right now. Last time they were going to play FIU. The line was FIU by 3 with a total of 139.5. Ben said Sam Houston would cover and under. I said the same. The final was FIU 66-60. Total was 126. So we lost against the spread, but we hit on the total. We're both 2-0 on the total, 1-1 against the spread. Now, we know what's coming here. New Mexico State. Cats favored by 10.5 on the road. What do you say?
Yeah, I got Sam Houston covering, going under once again. I think I've gone under both times with 66-53, so it's a total of 119. Win by 13, cover the 10.5. And this is under the assumption that Fontecone's playing. If not, then I might have to amend this. I might have to send you a text and say to change it for the record. But yeah,
That's not how that works. No, this is set in stone, man.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, 66-53, Sam Houston, book it.
Our scores are pretty similar. They are. But New Mexico State plays a little better at home. Normally, I would agree with you. But I think the Aggies cover. I've got Sam Houston 65-56. I'm also going with the under as well. Could it be over? If it hits over, then it's probably a 20-plus point win for the Bearkats.
Which I would enjoy.
That would be nice, yeah. Yeah, right about the halftime, maybe at the end of the third quarter, you could start to relax, be like, all right, what else is on TV?
Yes, I mean,
No.
I'll still watch. It's funny, all the men's games this year have lined up to where I can watch them, and a lot of these women's games have lined up to where I've just got the craziest thing going on, and I can't watch. Like I was on a flight when they were playing Kennesaw State the other day. I had a thing for work when they were playing Jack State on Thursday, so I'm hoping to be able to tune in tomorrow night.
I've caught quite a few of them. They're a fun team to watch. They really are.
It's a different brand of basketball, but it gets the job done.
It does. I think I've said before, the Nolan Richardson 40 Minutes of Hell when he was at Arkansas.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of that. And, hey, they won a national championship in the mid-'90s when Clinton was president. I don't ask me why I can remember such random sports stuff.
Well, he was from Arkansas, so there's the correlation.
Yes, no, that's why. He was there. Oh, dude, it was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
That was before we had the basketball president, Barack Obama. That dude loves his hoops.
Yes. He was always doing a bracket for ESPN.
I always enjoyed that. It was just fun to see the president do a bracket.
Yeah.
We have men's basketball to talk about. We have a Cat Fund update upcoming, but first, let's hear one more time from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Ben Sorrells was in Hunt Vegas last week.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was in Springfield for basketball. I was in Huntsville Friday for the golf stuff. I was all over the place.
All over. So, Ben, this is your time to take it away. Tell us what's going on with the Cat Fund. How did that event go last week?
Yeah, it was great supporting both our men's and women's golf teams through our Champions Dinner and auction. Golf, one of the many programs we've been proud to support over these last few years. So it was super exciting to get to do that. We'll have some, like I said earlier, some content from that in the next week or two once I can get everything written out, but some really cool stories about how both teams secured their most recent championship, and we'll have a piece on the men's team from their 2025 season. So, yeah, it was a really good time. Got to support a lot of our athletes for both golf programs. Had a lot of former players there, had most of the 2025 and 2024 championship teams there, which was really cool. So, yeah, it was a great time and another great event that we got to be a part of.
That is awesome. It's always nice when we get to see Ben back in good old Huntsville, Texas. And you said you were in Springfield last week, and you were. And you wrote 5 takeaways from that win over at Missouri State. If you haven't read it, marchtothepod.substack.com. He has that. And I also thought, listen, I realize, there's probably not a ton of Sam Houston fans making a midweek travel to Springfield, Missouri, because first off, why would you ever go to Springfield? But every time I go there, there's a tornado. That's why I say that.
There were a few fans. I sat next to Coach Kuligoski, our assistant coach, his family, and then Jacob Walker's family was there too. So there were a few other Bearcat fans.
You got close enough to get a great picture.
I did. I had the
that's
privilege of having some very nice seats, which I am blessed to have.
That is always fun to have. You know what else is fun is the 6-game win streak that the Bearcats are on right now. And as we take a look at the men's standings, that 6-game win streak puts them right up there in third place.
Well, I think that's the women's.
That's the women's again, isn't it?
I was going to say, I feel like I'm going crazy.
You are?
Because we should be in second tie with Missouri State, but we have the tiebreaker.
Watch this. Watch what happens here. Watch what happens. Oh, no. You know what? I put the wrong ones over there. That one's going to be the women's too, I bet.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, look, Cory didn't do it right. So shocking that the producer messed this up today. But
that's all right.
That's perfectly fine.
Well, Sam Houston sits in second place.
Yes.
At 7-4, behind Liberty. Nobody's really going to catch Liberty. Liberty's 10-0. Missouri State is also tied with you at 7-4, but you have the tiebreaker over them. Jack State at 6-4. Kennesaw State at 6-5 have wins over both of them. Those are the only teams with winning records. Only 5 of the 12 have winning records, and you have a win over 3 of those other 4. So you got to feel like you're pretty good. You play at home tonight, then you go to Louisiana Tech on Saturday. So, I mean, don't have to do too much traveling, and the schedule's pretty favorable the rest of the way. I think it's like 5 or 6 of 9 at home to end it, or maybe something like, I think it's 6 of 9 at home to end it. So that's a very favorable schedule. I think there's definitely a path for this team to get a top 2 seed going into Huntsville, Alabama.
Well, look, you don't need to beat Liberty until you get to the conference championship game. That's what it comes down to.
As long as you're a 2 or 3 seed. Yeah, if you're a 4 seed, you'd have to play them in the semis, but yeah.
Still got to go through.
Yeah, at some point you got to play them, but just handle your business until you get there and you see where the chips fall.
This week is one of those I'm a little like nervous about.
I don't know. I feel the health concern is a little worrisome to me, but UTEP's in a look-ahead spot. They host New Mexico State this weekend. Big rivalry game. And then you go to Louisiana Tech, who you just handled pretty well on Saturday.
And that scares me because that's a week turnaround. Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, what Sam Houston did, and first off, 9 p.m. start? Do they know I have a bedtime on a Saturday night, Ben?
Yeah.
Holy moly, that was late. But and then it went on forever at the end. I was like, stop fouling.
Yeah. But they got the win. You're the text you sent, I think you said they wore them boys out or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the guard play for Sam Houston that night was unbelievable.
Oh, and they kept going. They kept pushing that pace, and literally wore La Tech out. Now, when you go on the road, it's a different story, right? That's the thing, and that's kind of like I feel okay about tonight. I think tonight could be that trap game if you're thinking more about La Tech this coming weekend than you are about the UTEP trip, because you've got Joe Golding coming in. The Miners are 1-7. On the road. They lost 69-59 to La Tech. They beat Delaware at home last week, 70-55. That one seems like, okay, do we take them seriously? I know I realize that we, sometimes it's like, of course, but they're people. They're college age kids. And sometimes you might not put as much focus into this opponent that you think might be easily beatable.
Yeah, well, in the status of Po' Boy King, like I said, both teams have a notable.
That's the other thing.
I mean, they said it was cramps, but you never know with cramps. I mean, sometimes cramps can last a while, or maybe it's not cramps, and that's just what they said. But the status of Po' Boy King will be interesting because you're down to 9 active players. Without him, you'd be at 8. So that's another thing to note. And can he go 30 32 minutes like you typically play him? So we'll see.
Important because he's that swing guy. He's the guy that can play for you inside and outside, And he really is a glue between Illich in the middle and the guards, right?
Yeah, I mean, he is a big dude. I've got to stand next to him a few times. I mean, he is all of 6'5", 6'6", can handle the ball, shoot it. And against Missouri State, and I wrote about this in the article I wrote, but I mean, even when he's not scoring, I mean, the gravity that he holds within the offense it's incredible. I mean, early in the second half, I was sitting behind the bench, and Coach Mudge goes up to his assistants, and he said, if they're just going to face guard him the whole time, we're just going to beat him with our guards, you know. And Jacob Walker just pushed the pace the entire second half, and nobody could guard him because the help defense was so focused on Po Boy King. And I mean, who'd they play the other night? La Tech. They clearly didn't double team him. He had 15 points and like 15 minutes a game that he played. So, I mean, the gravity that he holds on the floor, whether he's scoring or not, is huge for this team.
Well, even if he's not, because he could pass. That's why he is that key thread between your guards and your big men. Because if you do double team him, he can make you pay. He's tall enough to get over the double team and make the pass to the open guy.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Jacob Walker, how the heck did he not win Conference USA Freshman of the Week? The guy that won it played for Jack State, averaged 15 points and like 3 or 4 rebounds a game. Jacob Walker went 2-0, averaged 19 points a game, closed both games out, beat the 2 hottest teams in the league, not named Sam Houston or Liberty. That one just made no sense to me.
Send all your hate mail about that to Josh Jonas at CUSA.com.
Yeah, I thought he might have been CUSA Player of the Week. I mean, he didn't even get Freshman of the Week.
I know the highlight of the week came from that game on ESPN2 when Casey Nat just did that.
Yeah.
Pulverized that dude, man.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the best athletes I've ever seen. And Phil Longo was courtside at the Kennesaw State game a week or two ago, and I heard from some conversations that Longo wouldn't mind if Nat played safety for him. And
imagine nothing.
I mean,
imagine.
6'3", 200, can move like that and jump like that. I mean, I think he'd make a great safety.
Yeah, well, he's playing basketball right now, so let's leave him alone and let him be. Now, here's why this La Tech game concerns me a little bit before we get into comparing stats with UTEP. Because they're 1-8 on the road, and we saw what the Cats did to them when they were in Huntsville. They're 11-1 at home this year.
La Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The male texters are 11-1 at home.
No matter who you're playing, it's hard to win on the road. I mean, winning on the road is not a given, even if you're playing, I don't know, Laterno.
Well, no, that might be. No, but what you're saying
mean.
is like that win at Missouri State, that to me showed a whole lot more about this team because it is hard in a conference game to win on the road. It doesn't matter where you are. It is very difficult. It does not matter the sport.
Yeah.
But they went and handled their business. That one was really impressive to me. And if they can do that again at La Tech Saturday, man, I'm high on this team. It will only keep going up if they're able to keep going out there and winning these road games that it's hard to win on the road.
Yeah, well, and they've won 3 in a row on the road. They beat FIU, they beat Jack State, they beat Missouri State, who came into that game on a 4-game win streak. And that was a pretty good environment at Missouri State. I mean, it might not have showed that with their fans, but their student section next to the bench was very, very rowdy. So that was a big environment that they went into and handled business. Yeah,
it's really fun to watch that happen because you always say go 500 on the road, take care of business at home. This team is doing that and then some right now.
Yeah, but they definitely are.
But they have a game against UTEP. And I think that one's coming up, in a few hours?
6:30, yeah. So
yeah,
and we'll get the injury report at 5:30.
Effective field goal percentage, UTEP. This is national team rankings. They're 301st. And again, another thing on the Bearcats, these numbers went in the positive direction, all except for like rebound margin, but they're 27th still in the country in rebound margin.
Yeah,
it's so tight at the top in these things, but they've got a clear advantage in scoring offense. UTEP can't score; they're 319th. If you can't play offense, you need to play defense. UTEP doesn't do that either; they're 120th. Rebounding margin 320. They don't get on the boards. Turnover margin, they're pretty good at that. But again, this is one of those on paper. The Bearcats look like they have every edge.
They do, and I'm glad you brought up rebounding because it slipped slightly. I think you won the first 7 games when it came to rebounding, and then you lost against Kennesaw State at home. You lost that rebounding margin. It was super close against Missouri State, and not having Jackson Ford and Isaiah Manning, I think definitely plays a part in that. Both who are 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", kind of thing. So the rebounding will be something to watch, especially without those two moving forward.
Definitely. So as we get into conference, let me go ahead and throw this one out. When we look at rebounding, defensive rebounding is very important. Yes. But to me, those offensive boards are just as, if not more important, because they're an extra possession. They're an extra shot chance.
Yep.
And Sam Houston is 12th nationally, 3rd in the conference. And UTEP 238th nationally, 10th in the conference. In that, and when you look at where they are in the conference now, effective field goal percentage, a lot of areas where Sam Houston's at the top, a lot of areas where UTEP is at the bottom. Scoring defense is about the same, but Sam Houston can put the ball in the bucket. UTEP has struggled to do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's the first time I'm looking at this, and just knowing what a typical Joe Golding team looks like. 2 years ago, they made the conference championship game against Western Kentucky, and that team was really good, really physical, rebounded the ball really well, and that's what made them good. And I was at that Sam Houston UTEP game front row before they had the courtside seats, and there was a play that spilled into the into the front row, and a fan actually broke his leg because of the UTEP player going so hard and diving and getting thrown into the stands. And 12th in rebounding margin just does not seem like a Joe Golding team, and I think that's a big part of why they've struggled so much this year.
Their ability to rebound is what helped him at ACU beat Texas that year like that.
Yeah.
Joe Golding knows. He's a Wichita Falls guy. He knows it's about rebounding and defense when you play basketball. And I don't know what it is, and there's a lot of questions right now out in El Paso about what is happening with their men's basketball program. So before we get to the predictions here, last game we predicted was Kennesaw State at home. The line was Sam Houston -6, total 163.5. Vegas said Sam Houston would win. ChatGPT said Sam Houston would win. Ben said Sam Houston would win, but Kennesaw would cover. He had 75-70. He also went the under. I did the same. Kennesaw cover and under. The final score was Sam Houston 93-87. And that's exactly 6 points.
It's a push, yeah.
So that's a push. So on the season, Ben is 2-0-1. I am 1-1-1 against the spread, and we're both 1-2 on the total, which brings us to 6:30 p.m. tonight, ESPN Plus in Hunts Vegas. I don't know. Is it really Hunts Vegas?
That's what it goes by.
That's what it goes by.
Man, that is a very friendly line you're giving us there.
You know what? That line is from Bet365.
It's interesting because all the lines that I've seen today are 9.5 to 11 for Sam Houston.
You know what's even more interesting?
What's that?
It opened at 2.5.
That's weird because
yeah. When I looked yesterday, it opened at 2.5. Obviously, I was writing the script and doing the graphics yesterday, but yeah, it was 2. When I saw 2.5, it opened. I went, "Oh my god!"
I just checked 2 different books and it's 10.5. So if you have Bet365, I would recommend getting on there and maybe placing.
If they haven't changed it, they've probably changed it by now. Those lines change nonstop. But
I'll take that line.
I was surprised to see a -5. Vegas says 70-65, but ChatGPT. What did they say? Right?
I was thinking maybe Sam Houston -9. Is kind of what my original thought was.
I could see that. ChatGPT, though, said a 6-point game. Sam Houston, 72-66.
All right. Well,
maybe do the experts know more than we do?
The Po' Boy King thing, you never know. I mean, that could be a factor.
The line is -5. Po' Boy, they may have gotten word that Po' Boy's playing. That could have been bumping it up to 9. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
These people have insides that Vegas knows. Ben, -5. What do you say?
Yeah, and I think it goes above this scoring total too. Sam Houston's kind of ratcheted up the scoring a little bit recently. I'm gonna go Sam Houston 78, UTEP 69.
Okay, so you're going with a cover and the over.
Yep.
All right. Let me get that put in so I don't forget. Because if I forget, and I will.
Yeah, it's an over and a Sam Houston cover.
All right. I also went over. I think same as you. They're scoring a lot more points. UTEP is a team that scores in the low to mid 60s. You've got them a little bit higher in this game. I've got Sam Houston actually a little bit lower, but I have 75-63. I think Sam Houston wins this one by 12. I have them covering. It just seems like a game where Sam Houston is going to handle business. I know I said earlier it's a trap game, but one thing I know about Coach Mudge, he takes every opponent as with the utmost seriousness. He's not going to let his kids think that this game is going to be easy. They'll be ready to play. I've got a 12-point Cats win.
And you know what a win tonight would mean, right? You probably don't, because this is a random stat that I found that the team probably won't even put out. Tonight would be Chris Mudge's 50th win as a Sam Houston head coach, and he would be the quickest to 50 wins in the program's Division I history. So he'd beat Jason Hooten, Bob Marlin, and I forget the one other name in the Division I history, but he would be the fourth in the program's Division I history to reach 50 wins and would be the fastest one to do it.
How fast? How long did it take Hooten to get to 50 wins at New Mexico State?
Still working on it, I think.
Oh, that's a wrap for this episode of March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. Little shot as we head out. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with more coverage of Bearkat athletics. Until then, Ben, take us home.
Eat 'em up, Cats, and let's cook up a few victories this weekend.
Cook up some miners.